What's up, YouTube? CJ with the Centipede Grass channel. We just finished cutting for the day, and I want to go over a question I keep getting. Should I aerate my lawn? In most cases, the answer to that is actually yes. If you're in my area, you know, we're in Georgia, I definitely wouldn't do it now just because soil temperatures are falling down below 70 degrees. So the grass is going to have trouble recovering at those temperatures. But in general, the answer is yes. Aeration is definitely important for the mobility in the soil. Your roots, water, nutrients, all of those air needs to be able to move freely throughout the soil, and it's very hard to do in compacted soil. So in general, the answer is going to be yes. Some situations where you're probably going to have to aerate your lawn. If you're standing like new construction, that heavy machinery has probably compacted that soil down on top of each other. So you'll need to aerate in that situation. Also, if you have like heavy clay soil, which we do down here in Georgia, if you have a lot of foot traffic on the soil, on the grass, you see that a lot in athletic fields. But even if you just have kids, you know, pets running back and forth on the lawn, you know, that could lead to a compaction issue. Weather events, heavy rain, heavy snow can lead to compaction. And also people who park their vehicles on the lawn could lead to compaction issues. So there are a bunch of things. Also, cutting with heavy machinery, lawnmowers can lead to compaction issues. So there are a lot of things that can lead to your lawn being compacted, and that affects how the lawn's going to grow. No matter what you do to the lawn, whether you're watering, fertilizing, all of those things, if it's compacted, you're still going to have problems growing in that area. So I want to show you my backyard, and I have an area that needs to be aerated, and we'll go over some things. So this is the backyard. As you can see, the grass grows pretty good back here. What's up, Ginge? But I do have this area where we have trouble growing grass, and you'll be able to see with when you have a compaction issue, the roots just don't go down in the ground. You see how that's dead? The sun has burned it, right? It's not even rooted. Now, sometimes this will look like a grub issue, but this isn't grubs, okay? Now, there's a checklist that I'm going to go through when I'm determining whether I need to aerate a lawn or not. In this area, it gets plenty of water. It gets the same amount of water as everything else. We have good head-to-head coverage in this area, so it gets watered. It gets sunlight. Right now, it is kind of shaded by the pine trees. But during the day, it gets plenty of sunlight. It gets the same amount of fertilizer and nutrients as the rest of the lawn. What else? A fungus. All right, there's no fungus. It doesn't have the pattern for fungus, and also no insect damage. Okay, haven't seen any grubs, any chinch bugs, anything like that. So I know that this area is because of compaction. Another telltale sign, I see these roots, okay? Like I said, this is on the pine trees. Pine tree is a shallow rooted tree, so they grow well in compacted areas. And when you see these roots above the ground like that, it's a lot of times because the area is compacted. So I'm gonna grab a screwdriver and we'll go over how to determine whether this is compacted or not. So like we said, compaction affects the mobility in the soil. Those soil roots need to be able to get down water, nutrients, all of those things need to be able to move freely in the soil. And if it's compacted, you're gonna have trouble doing that. So we got a screwdriver, and we'll go over real quick how to test to make sure you have a compaction issue in your yard. So I come over to my affected area, right? Take my screwdriver, and watch out, Ginge. I try to get it into the soil. I shouldn't have to push very hard. You want to make sure the area is dry. You know, you don't want it freshly wet because that'll affect your test. But that screwdriver's about an inch in the soil, maybe. Push down right there, and I'm pushing, right? I'm pushing, and I can't get it any more than about an inch. So if I can't get this screwdriver an inch, the chances of roots and water and fertilizer and all of those things being able to go much further are slim to none, right? And we're gonna go compare this to the front yard. Now you have to excuse the front yard. It's been a little while since we cut, but for the purposes of this video, it's all good. I got my same screwdriver and I come here. Now we got good grass here, so let me find the dirt. And that thing goes straight down. All the way in the ground. Let's try somewhere else. Straight down, all the way in the ground. One more spot. Let's try it right here. All the way in the ground. So if I'm getting that screwdriver all the way in the ground, I know that my roots, my water, everything that needs to be able to move around in my soil is going to have good mobility. It's going to be able to get down to the roots, and they're going to have room to grow. Your soil is 25% air, 25% water. Should be 5% organic material, and then the rest of it is made up of clay, silt, sand, all of those things. But if it's compacted, you're not going to have 25% air. You're not going to have 25% water in your soil because it's not going to be able to get down there. All right, so that's why aeration is important. Now, if you grab your screwdriver and your area is kind of like how my backyard was, I can only get an inch or two into the soil before it starts giving me problems and I can't go any further, then you're going to have to aerate your lawn. Now, unless you're a lawn care professional, you may want to call somebody or see if you can find somebody in your area to aerate for you. Not that it's impossible. Excuse that plane if it's causing a problem, but not that it's impossible. It's just that machine is cumbersome. It's a big, heavy machine. You have to put weight from a water to get it to press down on the grass. And that's difficult not only to maneuver, it's difficult to carry around. It's hard to get on and off of trailers. So it's doable. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely doable. But if you have a lawn care professional around, probably best to get somebody to help you out with that. If you do decide to do it yourself, Home Depot rents those machines. We have a place that's local. I'm not sure if it's a national chain or not, but it's called Sunbelt Rentals. They also rent that machine. And there are probably even more places, maybe even Lowe's, I'm not sure. But you can rent it. I definitely wouldn't purchase it. That machine is probably over $1,000, and you don't use it often enough to get your money's worth out of it, in my opinion, unless you are a lawn care professional. I even still rent them just because it's something that I don't do very often. If you do it once, unless you have like continuous traffic on the lawn, if you do it once, the effects last 5-6 weeks. And if you can get some good topsoil, some good organic matter, and then some, and you oversee when you aerate, you can get roots down in that soil and you start watering and they'll keep it aerated. Especially, I take care of all my lawns organically. So organic matter and a good organic program will ensure that, you keep good mobility in the soil. But again, if you do decide to aerate yourself, make sure you get a core aerator. There's a different kind. It's called like a tine aerator or thine, however you pronounce that. But it just pokes like these little holes in the ground. That's not the most effective way. You want to get a core aerator, and that core aerator is going to poke, like 2-3 inch. It's going to pull 2-3 inch cores out of the ground. So you'll have these little things of soil plugs all over the yard, and it's fine to leave those on the yard. Some people pick them up, but me personally, I leave them on the ground. After a few days, they kind of dissolve and work their way back into the soil. But yeah, get your core aerator. You want to go vertical a few times, horizontal a few times, maybe pass over the lawn 2 or 3 times, and that's going to make sure you get that good aeration, that good airflow back into the lawn. It's going to decompress it, and it's going to allow everything to flow freely. All right. So again, you can be watering, fertilizing. It can get sunlight. It can get everything else it needs. But if it's compacted and things can't move around freely, you're going to have a struggle growing grass. It's going to look like it did in that backyard. Okay. So, hey, that's everything I got for today. Got any questions about that, or just anything else that you kind of want to discussed on this channel, drop it down in the comments. If it's helpful, you know, if we're providing information that's helpful to you, definitely give us a subscription, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.